Little different atmosphere tonight. Uh, I'm at a different location. Um, Still going to put a video out. Uh, I'm actually here with my number one fan. Um, been my number one fan since the beginning, and you'll probably get to see her tomorrow on the live. There's a good probability of that, and well, I guess there'll be no need to have the poll anymore because I guess the rabbit will be out of the bag. So we'll just leave it at that. And if we can keep her from laughing and getting on tonight renting it, she's giving me looks. I better be good. All right. I better move on before I get myself in trouble that I can't get out of. And that way I'm healthy tomorrow and I'm able to do a live. Or I could just turn the camera around and blow it right now. But no, I won't. Not with that look. All right, guys. I'm talking. I found one I'm going to share with y'all today. It's about a guy who was hunting with some hogs, and I'm just going to read it to you, and we'll just go from there. He said, "I was hog hunting from a tree stand next to the Sabine River. He had gone to my stand around 5:30 a.m. to put sliced apples out and table scraps to hold the hogs for a few minutes to make a shot on them. I got my tree stand and waited for the woods to settle down and the sun to rise. At sunup, I heard hogs rooting around, working the river's edge toward me. I could first see them to the left at about 45 degrees at about 50 yards out. No clear shot, waiting for them to get my bait area. I noticed movement to the right at about 80 yards. Putting my rifle scope on it, I could see only the side of something's face. It was dark hair covered, slowly moving its head around, looking in the direction of the hogs. At this time, I quickly moved to another tree. I could see most of its body. It was huge, standing on two legs, slowly looking around at the tree at the hogs. At this time, I was quite afraid, but tried to keep my scope steady as it was coming toward me. The hogs were still feeding towards my bait area, and the animal was working towards the hogs. It moved quickly and disappeared. It quickly reappeared, moving to another tree. Still looking at the hogs, I could again study its features. Sounds like the creature's probably hunting the hogs. It's probably the same hogs he's hunting. What do you think? I guess she doesn't have a comment right now. At this time, I was quite afraid, but tried to keep my scope on it. Its movements from tree to tree were quick. It was leaping, and at the base of one of the tree of 2 feet. Standing behind the tree and slowly look around the hogs, it continued for several minutes until they were about 30 yards apart and almost directly in front of me at about 40 yards. The animal dropped to all fours, bunched up its rear legs, and leaped. It took 2 leaps to reach the hogs, and it screamed during the second leap, causing the hogs to panic for a split second. The second leap, it ended with slapping one of the hogs on the side, knocking it through the air and into the side of a tree. As the squealing hog bounced off the tree, it pounced on it, beating it with its fist like a person pounding on a desk. I could hear the bones crunching with each hit. All this happened very fast, about 4 seconds from the first leap to the dead hog. The quickness of the attack was very unnerving. The 3 live hogs were full flight. The animal picked up the dead hog, tucked it under its arm, and started walking off. It let out a growl and a lot of whoops, as if it was calling other creatures in to probably feed on the hog. It was probably a clan of them, I would guess. It was immediately answered from about 200 to 300 yards out by a shooter. 3 more whoops. After a couple more steps in the direction of the answer, it stopped, dropped the hog, turned and looked past me. It turned back to the tree and raised its head, and it looked right at me. I've never been more afraid of my life. I tried to keep the scope on its head because it came after me. It looked at me, it cocked its head to one side, and it made the smile. We've heard a lot about the smiles. They smile a lot, it seems like, don't it? Agree? She concurs. And it made a weird sound as it turned around, picked up the hog, and it walked away as it was in no hurry, but took its time. The hogs were still feeding towards my bait area, and they had no idea what had just happened. I was so afraid that I never entered the woods again. I was asked to describe it to the local game and fish, and I described it as being 7 to 8 feet tall, standing like a human on 2 legs, covered in hair, and intensely watching the hogs. Its hands and feet looked human. It had breasts. Its ears seemed small for the size of the head. Very tall, very heavily built female, similar to most Bigfoot pictures drawings that sees the face. But this was a very rare account. This was a female. She had a thick coat of hair, reddish-brown covering most of its body except the hands, feet, half the face, solid brown eyes. The Department of Conservation took this as a report and said that it would be investigated. Based on the information I gave them, they said it was a credible report and that this area had similar reports in the past. So it sounds like it was a pretty hot area in the past anyways. Probably a lot of wildlife, a lot of food in the area. you get food in the area that's going to bring in predators, and then you've always got one predator will have another predator, and it will move around like that. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. I want to get a quick one out to you from where I'm at this location. We're going to do the live tomorrow night at 8:15 p.m. I guess Central Time, Oklahoma time. And my friend, I think, is going to stay in the shadows. But I've done that for a long time, so she should be good at it. I'm good at being hidden. But yeah, we will be back tomorrow night on a live. I'm sure y'all's going to have a lot of questions for me, and probably her. And we look forward to it. And we'll see you on the next one. Don't be something's dinner, and keep your head on a swivel.